Question 1001 2L is a little bit more tricky. It's asking you to solve graphically these two equations simultaneously. 5x plus 3y equals 20 and y equals x minus 4. We're going to do the same thing as we were doing, where we're going to get the table of values, draw both lines. So draw 5x plus 3y equals 20 and draw y equals x minus 4, and hopefully they line up on the Cartesian plane that I've got here. What I will do is I'll start with y equals x minus 4 because that's going to be easier to graph. Y equals x minus 4 again. We draw our table of values. We start x on the top, y on the bottom, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we just say when x is -2, we will have -2 minus 4. So we'll have -6. That's what y will equal. When we have -1, we will have -5. And you should be able to see the pattern now. So 0 minus 4 is -4. So 6, 5, 4, -3, -2. We can graph that line if we want. So -2 for x and -6 for y. -1, and you can see it goes up 1 across 1. So I will just go across all of the grid, just so I'm making sure I have enough space for when I do the next line, that at some point, hopefully, when I graph the other line, it's going to hit one of these points. So I'll grab a different color. I'll grab green this time. This is a little bit more tricky because we have 5x plus 3y equals 20. And we can do the same thing with our table, except we're going to need to do a bit more algebra. So we have x and y. We have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. We just do this because we want to get the pattern. We know it's going to be a straight line, so we just want to see those 5 dots as a pattern, and we can make a line like this. What I'll do here is I'll put in -2 for x. So we have 5. You can put a bracket. I'll put times. 5 times -2 plus 3y equals 20. Sorry, that's a terrible 0. 20. That's another terrible 0. Third time lucky. 20. 5 times -2, that's -10. Plus 3y equals 20. Now, I need to get y as the subject. So here's where a bit of algebra will come in. I'm going to move this -10 to the other side. So I can plus 10 underneath each one. So what I'm left with when they cancel out is 3y equals 30. And now to get y by itself, I'm going to divide each side by 3. And we get y equals 10. So -2 and 10. That's our first point. I'm going to solve. I might pick another color again. Black. Let's try and get the pattern in just 2 points. I'll do it here. I'm going to pick -1 now for x. So 5 times -1 plus 3y equals 20. And we'll get -5 plus 3y equals 20. If we're going to move this -5 to the other side, it's going to become plus 5. So 3y equals 25. That's an ugly number. 25 over 3 doesn't really simplify. It's 8 1/3. So let's see if we can find another number that will give us something better than 25 over 3. Let's try 0. So I'll rub this off and we'll just replace with 0 and see what happens. 5 times 0 plus 3y equals 20. 5 times 0 is 0, so 3y equals 20. Again, that's another yuck number. Take the 3 over and divide. 20 over 3. We've gone down by 5. Let's try 1. Let's see what happens with 1. So 5 times 1 plus 3y equals 20. That gives us 5 plus 3y equals 20. Now that we have a positive 5, when we take it to the other side, it's going to be negative 5. So I can minus 5 from each side, and I think we're going to get a nicer number now. 3y equals 15, because now when I divide by 3, y equals 5. Cool. We have pretty terrible numbers. If I put 2 in there, 5 times 2 is 10. We take that away from 20, we're going to get 10 on 3. It's going down by 5 over 3 each time. So 25 over 3, 20 over 3, 15 on 3, 10 on 3. It's not a nice line to graph. So I'm just going to graph these 2 points here, and we'll work off those two. So when x is negative 2, y is 10. That's a nice point. That's this point here. When x is 1, y is 5. So when x is 1, y is 5. What I'll do between this point here and this point down here is I'll say it's gone down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's gone across 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do that same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. There's our answer. But I'll keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And that will do our graph. And we can join those points. We don't have to have every single point. Because it's a straight line, those points of 25 over 3 and 20 over 3 and 10 over 3, they will fall on this line. The other thing I should note is you should be using a ruler. It shouldn't be as messy as mine. But we have our answer here, which is at this point here, where x is 4 and y is 0. So our answer for this, coming back all the way to the top, is x equals 4, y equals 0, or we can list it as a point. And that's how we do that question.